Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Well, another beta has released, and this one has taken ages to release. I have been sitting here for the last 3.5 hours killing copper golems, because within my Discord we was killing one copper golem for every minute the update didn't release. And in total, we killed about 210. But anyway, this preview has some new features within it, so let's quickly jump to them because they are very exciting. So first thing we're going to cover is the shelves, because I think these are the best feature. They come in every single wood color and they use the stripped version. For now, we're just going to grab pale oak and bamboo. Let's also grab a crafting table, and then let's also show you how these are crafted. So if we was to grab some stripped wood, let's use the mangrove. They're crafted like so. You need stripped logs at the top and bottom. Now, if you was to put them like so, you can see that does not work. There needs to be the free gap in the middle for the recipe to achieve. Now, how do these work? Well, you can place them down and store items on them. So let's just say we want to store a crafting table in that slot. Let's then say we want to store a grass block in that slot. And let's say we want to store some ferns in that block. You can see that is now how it works. I can then also swap these for any item. So for example, if I was to bring the hopper here and place that in there, let's then say I want to change the hopper for a diamond block. Just by clicking, we'll swap the items. And each one, you need to click where it is placed. So clicking here will change the crafting table, then the fern, then the diamond block. Now, one cool thing with these, you can connect them together like so. Now, one thing I want to know is, can I connect different versions, or does it need to be the same wood type? Let's also test, can I place in more than just one? I can. I just placed 16 in there. And that is because they can hold up to 64, or they can hold up to 1 stack. So if it's something that can't be stacked, they can only hold 1. If it's, for example, eggs, they can hold up to 16. So let's now fill these up with just a load of random items. There we go. I want to do that. There is one other thing you can do with these, and that is the fact that you can power them. So if I was to grab some redstone and also a redstone block, I can place some redstone like so, and then I can power these, and they should now be powered. So if I was to click, you can see it then replaces all the items. And it seems like it doesn't work for all of them. They need to be the same type. Because as you can see, if I now click, it replaces the 6 items I have with these items right here. And then if I was to quickly just place this one right here, then let's just place the items again. We need to make sure we unpower them. So let's quickly just do that. And then if I was to do that right there, I don't know why that redstone block is glowing. We can then place these back down, and you can see we have 9 items right here with my inventory carrying a few. Clicking on this replaces my inventory with all 9 items, and it places them into the exact same slots as they were from left to right. So you can see the redstone dust is in the 6th slot. It will also go into the 6th slot of my inventory. Now this works if they are powered, and as you can see, if I only power these 2, it will then do the 6 items. And if I only power the 1, you can see it will only do the 3 items. If they are not powered at all, it will only take the single item you are looking at. These are such a cool block. I love the idea of them. They're going to make creating different loadouts very cool, because you can now have these at your nether portal or your end portal. So you can instantly swap your inventory if you need to when going to other places or exploring. Now, one other thing I do want to quickly just test, can they have redstone input? So for example, can you input items with a hopper? It doesn't seem like you can, at least not from above. Let's quickly just try from the back. And it doesn't seem like you can input items with hoppers, which that's a shame. I hope that is something they change. Let's now quickly just have a look at the shelves, because they do have different textures depending on the type of wood you use. Obviously, they match the type of wood, but then they do also have different patterns. So if I was to quickly just place them all down, you can see, for example, the oak has a different pattern to the spruce, and also the birch. We then have the jungle, we have acacia, we have dark oak, we have mangrove, we have cherry, we have then pale oak, and then we have the bamboo, crimson, and also finally warped. These are such a cool block, and I really do hope that Minecraft make it so we can add hopper inputs. Maybe I will upload a video later in the week exploring a little bit more of what these can do. So now let's cover to the next new feature in the game, and that is a texture update to dyes. You can see dyes now have a unique texture depending on what color, and honestly, I like the different shapes. I'm not a fan of the texture that's underneath them, but I definitely think this was needed with Minecraft adding a lot more accessibility for people who are colorblind and things like that. And this is just a texture change. They don't function any differently. They are obtained exactly the same. Now, the final thing within this update is a copper statue. There is a copper golem right here. I don't know how this copper golem got here, but if we was to quickly just go in the creative inventory, you can see there are copper golem statues. These come in every single different type and also wax. And how these are obtained, when a copper golem reaches this final stage, I think they turn into a statue. At least that is what the page says, and you can see it happened right there. So this one is now a statue, and I can click on it to create different poses. It can sit, it can walk, it can star, it can just stand there. And then I think there was one other, which it don't seem like is currently in. And the different poses create different redstone outputs. So if I was to put a comparator in the side of this, it will create a different redstone signal depending on the pose it is doing. Now, these can be picked up. They can also be waxed, and I'm pretty sure you can also click a axe on them. So let's quickly just try that. So you can see I can de-wax them down. I can also click honeycomb on them to make them stay as the type they are. So let's quickly just show you that. And then there is one other thing. If they are at this stage right here and you click an axe on them, they will turn back to the entity, meaning that they will go around your world again and explore. So this is a way to get them back as the entities if you leave them in the world for a little bit too long and you don't want them to be the blocks. But it seems like they don't instantly turn into the blocks. It seems like it's a random thing, because as you can see, this one is currently an entity and it's on its final stage, but eventually it will just turn itself into a block. I'm guessing maybe it can't happen if there's like a block on the block it's on. And only this version right here will turn into a statue. These other ones won't. And you can also break these and move them around, as you can see. And you can also change the pose at any time, which I also think is really cool. One other thing that I've just noticed is they are taller than a single block. If I place a block above them, you can see the lightning rod does get buried in that, which I don't know if that's going to be useful for anything. Can you place things like carpets on top of them? You currently can, but I'm guessing that will probably change before the full release, because it seems like at the moment they just use a normal blocks hitbox. I really do like the idea of these copper golem statues, and I think it's definitely a better way of doing it than these just turn into statues. It would be cool if they had a little bit more function, because currently they are just purely decoration. One other thing to note, if a copper golem was to turn into a statue while it was holding an item, the item will just drop on the ground. That is the main things to mention within this beta. Now I'm keeping it quite short because it released a lot later than I would like, and I need to sort a few things out before I head to bed. But I'm honestly really happy with this update so far. The shelves are a game changer. If I now quickly just swap my inventory, it would help if they was powered first. So you can see I am now finished messing with these, so I can come up to this, click on this, swap my inventory, and then go and build. I can then come back at this at any point and take that again. I really do love the concept of these shelves, and I also do like that they are kind of grouped together. So if we had two of these with one mangrove, it won't connect all three of them. They need to be the same kind for them to connect together. I guess that could be cool, but it could also cause issues for people in things like Skyblock and things like that. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this update in the comments, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!